Hi everyone, welcome back to Age Gap Love Story. This is episode 40 already, and it is our first episode for 2023. Can you believe it?
I can believe it.
And we're already almost through the first quarter. We're almost through the first quarter. So we've really missed making videos and connecting with all of you. And we're happy to know that we're happy that we're back today. Our cats are fighting over in the corner here, but hopefully they'll work it out. And
Hey,
if you're new here, we are Carrie and Alan. We're a married couple with a 32-and-a-half-year age difference. And we started this YouTube channel and podcast because we wanted to offer information, support, and community to help make your age gap relationship successful. So today's episode is kind of a check-in since it has been several months since we did an episode.
yeah, we're still alive.
Yes, we are. We wanted to touch base with you. And we also wanted to talk about the state of age gap relationships in 2023, mostly like societal perceptions, what I see on social media, what I see in our Facebook group, and then the messages that I get on Instagram. And I will link all of those resources in the description box below if you want to join our private Facebook group or follow us on Instagram. We definitely are more active there. And then we make our videos, I would say, less frequently.
That's because we're so busy breaking up the fights between our cats.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, let's see, why don't we just do a quick little update, what we've been up to, and then we can jump into some of the current topics and social media stuff that we're seeing about age gap relationships. So do you want to just give a quick life update?
Well, we sort of have blossomed after being in lockdown due to the COVID virus. And as probably most of you know, after the COVID virus, there was the RSVP. And then after the RSVP, there was the flu.
RSV.
Whatever. RSVP. So anyway, going through all of that in a very cautious manner because of my age and as an ex-smoker, we've been very guarded until recently about going out and planning trips and whatever. However, now that that's behind us, previously we spent a lot of time working at home and doing things very locally. Now we're going to be doing a little bit more traveling and planning some trips. But as far as anything really new and exciting, not so much so. Carrie's been very busy with a number of projects for her Clean Eating Kitchen food blog and other projects. And I've been busy mainly with small issues around the house and personal finance, little house cleaning there. And that's about it. Nothing too exciting really until the forthcoming trips, which we'll keep you current on.
Yeah, we're definitely excited to do a little bit of travel. That's something that we've enjoyed in the past. We're not doing anything we're not going internationally or anything. That's something that we've done a lot of in the
Yeah,
past.
no space flights.
But maybe in the future, we may do some more extensive travel. At this point, they're just kind of some short trips, all domestic, but it should be fun and it will get us kind of back into that travel mode and have some fun. Alan is having his 81st birthday coming up in just a few weeks. And actually, I thought we would do a episode with lessons from Alan.
Not done at 81.
Life lessons from Alan after 80 years on the planet. So that might be our next episode.
Yeah, it'll be an 81-hour episode, actually.
Yeah, and that reminds me, there are some features on YouTube. If you're listening to this on YouTube or watching it on YouTube, there is a way to go live, do some live streaming, and so we could connect. I think what happens is we are live streaming on video, and then there's like a comment box that people can ask questions live and we can answer. And I think that might be something fun to do.
I'm so excited.
And if we do something like that, I will be sure to announce it in the Facebook group and on Instagram in case, so we can plan ahead if you want to attend live and ask questions and stuff like that. That would be fun. Another exciting thing is we actually recently hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is really cool and um, amazing. We never expected to have this blossom into something this big and hopefully bigger in the
And we
future.
have a lot of interaction. Carrie specifically gets a lot of contact from people in our Facebook group
Yes.
with questions and comments and their particular situation. And we welcome that. Please join our Facebook group and stay in touch and let us know what's going on with you.
Yeah, I will say that the Facebook group is really meant for people who are already in an age gap relationship. It's not necessarily for singles. And there's some questions that you have to answer before you are admitted into the group. And then the Instagram is you can always message me, direct message me, and I always try to respond, even if it takes a couple of days. And that's often more people who are like really new to age gap relationships and have questions. But that's what's going on with us. And everything, all our social media and everything is under Age Gap Love Story. So you can always find us there. Um, so, getting into the state of age gap relationships in 2023, I jotted down some of the most popular topics that I see specifically within the community, the age gap community. So, people who are in age gap relationships, I would say the number one issue that comes up in the group is parental approval of age gap relationships.
Of the younger partner.
Yeah, getting the younger partners, telling your parents about your relationship, dealing with the potential conflict that comes up when you tell your parents. I think as age gap couples are together for years, I mean, Alan and I will be celebrating our 25th anniversary together this year, that issue likely goes away or becomes less prominent.
After 24 years,
Yeah,
usually.
yeah, that's good news. But for newer age gap couples, it really is a giant issue and it can be a cause of a lot of stress and concern. I would say also the actual introducing the your age gap partner to parents is also something that comes up a lot. Um, so we have some videos about that, specifically about my experience and how we dealt with that. We Another thing I want to mention is this year we may remake some of those videos because they're a little bit older now, and maybe we can offer some better insights or do the videos better.
And we're a little older now, too.
Yeah. So some other topics that have come up in the group. Um, I don't know. There was some article that came out that said something about. I think it talked about boys, not boys, men and women, young men and women, that your brains don't fully develop till age 25.
I thought it was 81.
And so I don't know. There was some talk in the group about, does that mean that there's something wrong if you're getting together with somebody older when you're younger than 25? But I don't know. We didn't spend a lot of time on it in the group, and it seemed to be kind of triggering for people. But I just want to mention it
I, th-
because it came
I
up.
think the best way to look at any study, irrespective of the subject, is that it applies to maybe a general concept as opposed to specifics. Everybody is different. Every relationship is different. Every person is different.
Yeah. And I also think the argument doesn't really hold very well, because if you're going to argue that somebody can't be in a relationship with somebody older because until you're 25, I mean, then maybe you shouldn't do anything until you're 25. So
Don't leave the house.
it
Don't get
doesn't
out of bed.
it doesn't really make any sense to me. Another other topics would be concerns about the older partner aging. That always seems to be a concern, and I mean, it's definitely something we've addressed before, and we continue to work on and try to do planning and preventive health stuff as we both get older. But I mean, that's obviously it's a concern when you get together with somebody older is you're worry about something happening to them, and then actually concerns about losing the older partner. And we do have a specific video geared towards that. Like if you have really intense anxiety about losing your partner, there are some things that you can do. And so you can look at our recent videos and we've covered that topic. But again, it's something that comes up. And then another topic that has come up a lot is making how do you make friends with other couples? I guess not necessarily age gap couples, but as an age gap couple, how do you make friends? And are you making friends like with the younger partner's age group or the older partner's age group? And we have another video where we talked specifically about that too.
Yeah, just FYI, we have close friends in all various age groups, from folks that are younger than Carrie to people that are my age.
Yeah, I would say actually less more about the age gap stuff is it's been easier for us to find friends with other couples who don't have children. Alan has children, but they're grown, obviously. And the fact that we don't have young children or teenagers, it's been easier to connect with other couples who don't have young couples or teenagers.
Right. And I think it's the mindset that makes the difference. If you are compatible with other people, I guess Carrie said, children do have a very tremendous dominance in any family. So if a couple does have children and you don't and don't plan to, their interests are going to be very different than yours.
Yeah. So I would say those are the top 5 or 6 topics that we are seeing most talked about, not just in 2023, but over the years since we've been doing this. And I'm sure will continue to be popular topics. Some of the things that I see on social media, because I'm on social media and Alan is not, but and also in online media.
I'm usually on the sofa.
um, let's see. I would say that there are more. I'm seeing more age gap couples being presented online, like in YouTube videos, um, TikTok, although I don't really look for that on TikTok. I usually look more for like nutrition stuff. And so those are the kind of videos that I'm shown. At one point, we were on TikTok and it was horrible. Like the comments were so horrible. They were so mean. Of course, there were some amazing, nice comments, but people were awful. So I said no more TikTok because I find it easier. No, I find it harder on TikTok to like block people and report and that kind of thing. Where Instagram, we don't really get a lot of negativity or any negativity on Instagram. And I think it's a matter of the algorithm and kind of those platforms where if you're on TikTok, you know that you're often presented with videos of people you don't follow, where on Instagram you were presented with videos of people you do follow. So on TikTok, we had one video that had like 800,000 views. And so it was being shown to people who didn't follow us and maybe even people who weren't interested in age gap stuff. And so in other words, it was just the general public and it was horrible. But in a way, it gave me kind of a really good insight into how people actually feel. Um, and unfortunately, I'm kind of sad to report that there does still seem to be a very, very high level of judgment and negativity around age gap couples. I'm sorry to say that. I'm also noticed that in mainstream media, they love to put out age gap couple stories, but in a very salacious way, not necessarily in a positive way.
Like it's some sort of a scandalous relationship.
Yes, it's a way to it's almost like clickbait. They just know people are going to click. So I don't like that. I really don't like where society views age gap relationships. The way I see it is society views age gap relationships the way society used to maybe 20, 30 years ago treat um, maybe gay couples or even like overweight people. I think we've come so far in the last 20, 30 years with how we don't do fat shaming. It's just not acceptable to make those jokes in movies. And Alan and I've been watching some older movies, and the jokes they make, like in these kind of more comedy movies.
Are
We
hurtful.
Yeah, we just watched Airplane, and we got into the second one. It was so offensive the way they talk about women, the way, again, like any topic was fair game. Anything that wasn't just, white people, normal white people, it was just like meant to be made fun of and a joke. And it was really kind of disgusting. So I feel like, unfortunately, age gap relationships that's how society still views them, as something to make fun of. Maybe it's getting a little bit better, but I don't know. Okay, so like for instance, I don't want to dwell on this too long because it's not super positive, but it's just the way I see things. If you have a different opinion and you want to share some more positive resources, please do that in the
Yeah,
comments.
and I just think my personal philosophy is it's difficult enough to manage your own life and your own feelings, let alone to be concerned and to try to manage somebody else's feelings, whether they're friends, family, or strangers. So, my feeling is that if you are in an age gap relationship and somebody says to you, "Is that your daughter or is that your girlfriend?" Say, "Oh, it's my daughter." It doesn't make any difference. You're not going to see those people again. I mean, obviously, if it's a family or close friend, you wouldn't do that. But it's nobody else's business what your relationship is with your partner.
Well, you could just say that too. It's none of, I don't, it's really none of your
Well, then
business.
you might get into an argument. By the way,
Yeah. Um,
that's our oldest.
so there was a BBC article in 2022, and the title or the headline was "Age Gaps: The Relationship Taboo That Won't Die." That's a perfect example of what I'm seeing in mainstream media. And I put a quote from the article. It said, "There's little evidence that society's fascination with age gaps is lessening. So-called May to December celebrity love affairs still regularly make headlines, and young people seem even more judgmental of age gap relationships than their older counterparts, particularly when a man is older than a female partner. Um, Given that young people are generally at the forefront of social changes, their disapproval could mean that the age gap taboo might become even more deeply entrenched." And then the psychologist or researcher who was um, interviewed for this article said, "Overall, I do hold out hope that we are becoming less judgmental of others, whatever their choices are, but the narratives of what a good relationship looks like are so hardwired in Western society, it is unlikely that we will reach a place where people stop judging the lifestyle choices of others that go against these norms, including age gap couples." So that's kind of how it is. But I would argue that these societal views and norms can change. And I think it's perfect evidence is gay couples and how gay couples have earned the right to marriage in the United States. And in my opinion, it's become a much more acceptable, and in fact, it's unacceptable to show criticism and judgment and negativity for gay couples online, at least. And so I think there is hope that things can change, but it's going to take some more time, I think. And one thing that I wanted to say about that is, we hope that by putting our life out there on social media and videos and stuff like this, that we're hopefully contributing to a change in that attitude, because Alan and I have been together now 25 years. So if you want to say age gap couples don't work, well, we're evidence that they do work. So,
Yeah, the bottom line is don't let other people ruin or run your life.
yeah.
You do what you think is best. You can accept other people's advice, tell them you appreciate it, you'll consider it, and then you do what you think is best for yourself.
Yeah, and if you want to be part of the change, I think oh, cat almost knocked over the camera. Hey, come on. I would say that if you are comfortable, especially as you are with your partner for many years, maybe you get married and blah blah blah, if you feel comfortable, then you can help make the change by sharing on social media. But of course, be protective of yourself and don't be afraid to block and delete people or whatever.
Don't let people into your life that might hurt you. That's the bottom
Yeah,
line.
so do what you feel comfortable doing. But again, I think it's going to take all of us trying to showcase what a positive age gap relationship looks like to help move society forward. And I would say the best way to break a stereotype is just to be happy and, like Alan said, live your life. Um,
Every day when you get up, you look in the mirror and you say, "Am I going to be a happy person today, or am I going to be depressed? Am I going to be sad? Am I going to worry? Am I going to let people criticize and belittle me?" And you're the only one that can answer that question every day when you get up. And the answer should be no. I'm going to be a happy person today. I'm going to look on the positive side. I'm going to deal with issues. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to deal with my life. I'm going to conquer problems and move onward.
a little life lesson from Alan.
Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da!
I found some research. I thought this was kind of interesting that I would share because I don't think we've ever shared this research. I don't recall just about age gap relationships. And I think this was from that same BBC article, but they shared using data from 2010 in Western countries, around 8% of male female couples have an age gap of 10 years or more.
Is that how we would define an age gap relationship? 10 years?
I usually do maybe a little bit more, like 15.
Not 32.
I think 10 years to me doesn't seem to be that big of a difference. It kind of depends if you're 20 and 30 versus 50 and
15
60.
and 25.
Well, that would
12
be
and
that would
22.
be illegal.
Oh,
As we've always said,
yeah.
we'd offer no judgment on age gap relationships as long as they're between two consenting adults.
Adults is the key word there.
And that's
I noticed
in
that.
the United States, that's 18 years.
Well, no, in Arkansas, I think marriage without consent at 16 is legal. Younger than 16 is permissible with the judges. Okay. But
Okay.
anyway, that's in
Okay, well,
Arkansas.
let's say legal age.
Yes.
But yeah, where I think there's more um, issues, I guess, or things to address. I think it's more like 12 to 15 years for most couples, where it's really a significant difference. And then this article noted for male couples, um, actually, there are the number of age gap couples of 10 years or more is 25%, and then 15% of female relationships. And then they said, let's see, for some of the gap is even data suggests that around 1% of heterosexual couples in the US have an age difference of 28 years or more. Oh, that's kind of interesting.
1%?
1%.
That's a lot of people.
It is, because I think there's how many million? 350 million?
350 billion.
No, million people in the US.
Oh, I don't know. I'm thinking the
Yeah.
world.
No, that's like 9 billion.
Whatever.
Okay.
Just a number.
Okay. And then I don't know. There was some more information. I don't know. Should I?
I think I would skip
Okay.
the
Okay.
statistics.
All right. Well, I thought that was kind
It
of
all boils
interesting.
down to what's going on in your life.
Okay. So that's what we see as the state of age gap relationships in 2023. So why don't we just share some of our plans for this year, although we're a fourth of the way through it already. And then we'll wrap up.
Wrap up.
So our plan for our age gap community, we want to continue making videos. I don't have to tell you that we've been not as consistent as we were. And as Alan said, I've been very busy with my main business, and the age gap stuff continues to be a labor of love. We Even though we did reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, there's some other requirements before the videos are monetized. So we're not monetized. So we have not earned one penny from our age gap stuff. And that's not really the point. That's not why we did it. But eventually, we'd like to earn from the videos. And then we kind of have some exciting ideas. We would really like to write a book. I think it would be so helpful to have a really quality resource for people who are new to age gap relationships, because I've looked on Amazon. I think there's maybe one or two books, and they look to be self published, but that's fine. But they don't, to me, they look dated, and I haven't looked in a while. But I think that would be really amazing for us or somebody else to put together a guidebook for age gap couples. That is something we could get started on this year. I'm sure writing a book is a multi-year project as far as writing a proposal, getting a contract, publishing, blah blah blah. We'd like to do it the conventional way, getting a real publisher. So
Carrie and I are
we'll
both
see.
published authors. Carrie has done 2 cookbooks, and I've done 6 or 7 books on finance. So as a co-author and author, so we kind of know how to write a book, and this is a subject that's important to us.
Yeah. But writing this type of book would be a whole new experience, but it's something we feel definitely qualified to do and that we can do it and we're interested in doing it. So if you think that would be helpful, please give us some positive feedback because it's a huge undertaking.
We were also thinking about, now this maybe is way outside of current thinking, but conferences.
Yeah, we've talked
And
about that
yeah,
before.
and maybe putting a group together for a cruise,
Yeah.
things of that sort, so we could all share ideas and meet each other and have fun.
Yeah. Oh, another thing we've talked about, well, I mentioned doing the YouTube live, which is something that we definitely need to do. I'll write a note because we could do that really soon. Um, but maybe doing some type of like Patreon thing where I don't know, because people we do get a lot, or I would say fairly often, people want to do like a one-on-one with us. They just kind of want to,
Counseling.
yeah, I mean, we're not therapists, we're not qualified for that except for our experience. And I think Alan especially is amazing at giving advice. He's just like a natural,
Yeah. Yes, my motto is maybe in error, never in doubt.
but he gives amazing advice. So I don't know how we would do that, but that's something we can think about. We would also, we've mentioned this before, we'd love to interview other age gap couples and then record it and put it on YouTube. And that just requires a lot more planning. And because I've been so busy, I haven't been able to pursue that. And I mentioned this before, we may revisit some of the topics that we covered. I think it's been three, it's either been two.
Start of the pandemic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
about
trying
3
to
years.
think. I think I can't remember if we started in 2020 or 2021, but I'll have to look. But it's been a few years now since we've recorded, especially some of those early videos might benefit from being revisited. So that is our show for today. We really appreciate you watching. We hope that you subscribe because I have noticed in the analytics that a lot of people watch, but they don't necessarily subscribe. So
Mm.
please do subscribe. That would help us out. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.